Hello everybody and welcome to our live stream today. I am so excited to be talking to you today about how to write a newsletter in 15 minutes and to share with you my simple but very powerful 5-step system for doing that. Now, as online entrepreneurs, writing newsletters is something that we do quite regularly, or we should be doing quite regularly, because this is a way that we can keep in touch with our people, the people who have expressed an interest in what we are doing and who have registered to be on our list or our database. And it's a great way of connecting with them regularly. And I myself would email my people probably twice a week. Occasionally I would do it more than that. And I know that for some people this can be very daunting. Some of my clients, when they come to me, have either never written a newsletter to anybody, or it's on their to-do list and they keep meaning to start writing newsletters, but they just haven't got round to the actual implementation. Now, please say hello when you jump on, because we're expecting quite a few people today, so I'd love to say hello to you all. So, what do you need to do with newsletters? As I said, I do it 2 to 3 times a week, and that's what I really recommend, because that means that you are regularly keeping in contact with your people. They're regularly hearing from you. They're starting to get to know you, your expertise, the things that you say, the ways that you can help them, the ways you can give them lots of great information, and you can start to build a really solid relationship with them. And then when you are at the stage where you have something to offer to them, whether it's your new program or a great new product that you've developed, or you're launching something that you want to be able to offer to your list, then it's not such a big surprise when you suddenly start to send multiple emails to them. If you've never emailed them before and then you start sending them sales emails, it usually doesn't go down terribly well. But if you've spent that time nurturing them along the way and giving them great information, and then when they know how much you can help them and how great you are at solving their problems, they're going to be really open and eager to sign up with whatever you have to offer them. So that's why I would recommend right now, if you have a list, okay, number one, have a list, and a list being a list of people that you are able to market to, so potential clients or leads. Prospects, that's another term for them. And then start nurturing them regularly by sending them emails. Now you can do this, if it's too much, you can start off with once a month, once a fortnight, once a week, and build up. So you're not going to suddenly start sending out 3 emails a week from zero. That's going to be a big jump. But once you have learnt my 5-step system, which we're going to go through today, it won't seem nearly as daunting. It'll be much easier for you, and it won't have that I suppose hanging over your head thing that makes you think that you're going to be spending hours and hours coming up with a topic, writing the email, and it's just going to be too much hard work. Today's lesson is going to really show you how it can be quite easy. It doesn't need to have that connotation of being a problem and being something that's going to take you forever. And we'll go through that very, very quickly today, very soon, sorry. So one of the first things that you need to decide on is what you're going to write about. Obviously, if you've got something you're going to send out to people, you need to have a topic, because you can't just ramble. You need to decide on what is the focus for your newsletter. And the way to do that is to be listening, to be open to what's happening in the groups that you're in, where your people are hanging out, in your own Facebook group, the sort of things that you hear people saying that they're complaining about, or they're challenged by, or they are constantly talking about. It's a constant theme that you notice. And those are the sorts of things that you can write your newsletter on, because they are the things that are top of mind for your clients, for your target audience, and they are going to be received really well, and they're going to be positioning you as being able to help with these problems that people are facing. So that if they're talking, if you hear them constantly talking about, oh, I don't know what to eat, you know, I want to lose weight and I'm busy, I'm at work all day and I've got no time to cook anything when I get home, then you may want to start writing some newsletters on simple meals that can be prepared in 15 minutes or less. If they are complaining that they, what else could they be? If they're too busy, they've got all these things that they need to do for their business and they can't fit it in, then you may be wanting to talk about some time management tips or some systems or some programs that may help people organize their time better. So the key is to be listening. It's to be listening and being open to the problems that they're having, that even the things that they're talking about that they're excited about. If you can give them more information on that or really build on that, then that's also going to be a great way to connect with them and a great way to choose a topic or a subject for your newsletters. So let's get started with the actual system. Now, I thought what I would do today is actually write a newsletter live on our live stream today. So I'm going to switch you over in a sec to looking at my computer screen, because that will make it a little bit easier rather than me just talking. If I have things written down, it'll give you a real sense on how I actually structure my newsletters and how I can do it so quickly and easily by following a simple 5-step formula that you can apply to any topic. And this isn't just confined to your newsletter. I find that this works really well when you're writing a blog, or even if you're writing an article, you can expand on it and make it a little bit longer, but just use that same structure that makes it really, really easy to organize your information and make it flow, make it interesting, and also make it very easy for you to continually churn out content so that you're constantly being able to come up with new exciting newsletter topics, and you can do them and plan them ahead of time. For me, I find that I will write out maybe 2 or 3 weeks worth of content at a time. So I'll write out my newsletters and I'll schedule them all so that once they're done, I can relax and concentrate on being present day to day online rather than having to constantly come up with new stuff. So planning ahead can work really well. And if you've got a system that means that you can do it in only 15 minutes per newsletter, then it's not such a big ask to plan these out in advance. So let's now see how we go. Turning around, I'm going to turn you over here and see if we can turn you around to look at my screen. Just line you up there. So hopefully, let me know if you can see my screen now, because I thought this would be much more powerful than me just talking, as I said. So I've got on here our 5-step system here, which we're now going to go through. So number 1, when you're writing a newsletter, is to identify a top-of-mind problem for your ideal client. So this is going to be I suppose the theme for your newsletter. It's the message that you're going to be wanting to convey in the newsletter, and then writing a headline. Now, sometimes what I find I will do is I will write out the newsletter following this system, and then at the end I will write the headline. But I usually will start up with something as a headline just to give me that launching point, I suppose. So that's number 1, is to identify what you're going to be writing your newsletter about, and that is found to have the most powerful effect if you can identify that top of mind problem for your ideal client. That's going to be the best topic for you to choose to write your newsletter about. Number 2 is to choose 3 top points that you'd like to cover in this newsletter and write them as a list. So have them as bullet points. 1, 2, 3. These are what we'll cover in the newsletter based on this title or topic. We're going to start with a question or a statement. So an intro. We're going to go through those top priority points and flesh them out a little bit, and then we're going to end up with a conclusion. So a very simple 5-step system, but as I said before, very powerful, because it enables you to have that structure that you can then plug in your points, your topics to, and use it over and over again so that you can work quite fast. So if we started off with number one today, the topic I thought would be a nice one for us to tackle would be, if you're an online entrepreneur, how to organise your Facebook marketing. This is something I find myself. I hear people over and over again. Let me just, it's flashing a little bit there. Hopefully it's okay. Asking me, how do I organise my Facebook marketing? When should I be online? What should I post? What are the sorts of things that I should talk about when I'm posting? So this is a very top of mind type of subject. So I thought that would be a great way to start our newsletter. So the top of mind problem we're going to be dealing with today is how to organise your Facebook marketing. And I'm also going to use a little feature that I've got on my computer here, which is a Mac, which is the talk to text option, because I thought that would be much faster than me typing. So if you have a Mac, you can use this yourself. You just push the function button, which is down to the left of the space bar, push it twice, and you'll come up with this little icon, which I'll do in a sec, and then I'll start speaking and we'll be able to see it appearing on the screen. So if we start off with our headline, let's just go back to the screen so we're on here. So our headline might be, let's just get started. Want to spend less time on Facebook? ? And then we're going to, so that may be our, let's call that our subject. And I'm open to questions, so if anything, oh great, thanks Kitty, I didn't check down there, you can see my screen, that's good. Okay, so you want to spend, let's see, subject, want to spend less time on Facebook. So that can be our starting title here. So what we want to do now is decide on what points are we going to cover. What points are we going to cover in this newsletter? Well, the three top points that I tend to hear from people who are talking about their Facebook marketing is they don't know where to post, they don't know what to share, excuse me, and they want to save time. So how can they be more efficient when they're on Facebook? So what we'll start with is, as we've got here, a question or a statement. We might actually pop in these three top points first. So point number one, now excuse me about my coughing because I have had a cold for a while. I came back from holidays and I brought a cold with me, which is really frustrating. So what we want to talk about is where to post, what to share, how to be I have to cut this bit out later. Okay, so these are our 3 points. Oh, sorry about this. We're going to start now with our question or statement. So let's see how we go with our little button here. Are you totally confused and overwhelmed with your Facebook marketing strategy? ? As you can see, it doesn't always do exactly what I want it to do, but we can fix that up, that's fine. Where are we? Are you? Let's change that to are you. All right. Do you spend hours each week lost in the Facebook vortex, not knowing what you should be doing and where to focus your time? Full stop. And emerge at hours later with nothing to show for it and no real idea of what you actually did and achieved because you had no idea what you were supposed to be doing. Okay, let's just fix that up a little bit there. Okay, so there's some questions. We're going to now do a statement. Pop this on again. Imagine if you had a plan instead. Full stop. New line. If you set an intention and had a focused goal every time you logged on, full stop, and you had a real strategy to achieve that goal. Full stop. New line. It's not as hard as you think, exclamation mark. You just need to follow a few simple steps. Full stop. Now, as you can see, using this talk to text is going to speed you up as well. This is a great feature to use if you are someone who is better at talking than writing. Because you can actually talk and it sounds quite natural, you're writing that way. And it's obviously faster than you're typing, because I find out myself I'm a bit of a slow typist, but this works really, really well to speed things up. So what we'll do next is, so we've done our little introduction. We've asked some questions, we've made a statement, and now we're going to go into our priority points. So the points we were talking were where to post, what to share, and how to be efficient. So if we made them a little bit more succinct, or a bit more focused, let's say, what we might say instead for number 1 would be decide on where to post. Okay. And then we're going to flesh these out. So as I said, if we go back to up the top there, number 1 is to identify your top of mind problem for your ideal client. 2 is to choose those 3 top points to cover, which we've done there, where to post, what to share, how to be efficient. And 3 is to start with your question or statement. So that's your introduction, which we've done at the top there. Kitty, no, download the talk to text on the laptop. No, if you've got I've got a Mac, it's on the left down the bottom. You may have to possibly enable something in your settings to allow you to have it recognize your voice. Have a look at that, but it works brilliantly, as I said. So we've done number 3, and then we're going to go through these priority points and flesh them out, so we give you a little bit more information about each of them. So when we're deciding on where to post, for example, what do you do and who is your target audience? Question mark. This should be your number 1 focus. Full stop. Okay. So if you are a vegan health coach, comma, you don't want to be hanging out on the Meat Lovers Forever Facebook group. Full stop. Okay, so let's just fix. Now as I said before, I'm just using this as an example, and I think it's one that everyone can identify with because we are on Facebook right now, but it'll give you a chance to see how you could use this for your own business. Obviously, this is going to be tailored to you and your business. So let's go back here. So if you are, say, a vegan health coach, you don't want to be hanging out on the Meat Lovers Forever Facebook group. New line. As a virtual assistant, specializing in CRM systems for online entrepreneurs, comma, the Mums and Bubs weight loss group isn't the place to find your ideal client, is it? Question mark. All right, right, so we'll just fix that one up again because we're not talking about bugs. So as I said, this is just giving you a quick example. So you don't need to take any of this down, of course. So identify your peeps and hang out where they do. Where they do. All right, so that's fleshed out our number one. So we've just written a couple more sentences to make it a little bit more clear to help out with that deciding on where to post. So then we'll move on to our second one, which is set your guidelines. Oops. What to share. Okay, and we want to flesh this one out a little bit now. Oops, and I think we'll, let me just see if I can go it up a little bit. Choose your focus, full stop. What is your intention, question mark. Do you want to promote your upcoming workshop, question mark. Build a relationship with brides looking for their wedding photographer, question mark. New line. Whatever your intention, comma, then align with what you are sharing with that. Don't meander or ramble, exclamation mark. Set your goals and stick to them. Full stop. New line. Okay, so that's fleshed out number two. So if we go down again, so we've got, again, identify the top of mind for your problem for your ideal client. So we've done that, want to spend less time on Facebook. And then we're going into our question, asking them questions, setting the scene of where they, so that they know that they are in the right place with this newsletter and you're speaking directly to them. We're going then into our priority points. Decide on where to post, flesh it out, set your guidelines, what to share, flesh that one out. Then we'll go on to number three, which is create your ultimate Facebook marketing strategy. So what I'm doing here as well is, I know that at the start we were talking here where to post, what to share, how to be efficient and save time. So I've started off with these three priority points, but I've made them sound a little bit sexier when I've gone into the bulk of the email, the body of the email. So where to post, we've changed to decide on where to post. What to share is set your guidelines, what to share. And how to be efficient and save time, we've just made that sound a little bit more sexy with create your ultimate Facebook marketing strategy. Okay, so let's just flesh that one out. Create a weekly schedule, full stop. Balance out what you post each day and spread the love, full stop. New line. Choose the times you will be online. For example, twice a day, comma, morning and night for 15 minutes, full stop. Then put that into your calendar, full stop. New line. Choose the Facebook groups you know will work well for you, comma, and plan how you will nurture them, full stop. Look at their theme days and plan ahead, full stop. Use a timer to avoid the dreaded Facebook time-sucking effect. Okay, so that's fleshed out number three. So what we'll go back now and just have a look at what our next step is, which is the fifth step, end up with a conclusion. So what we've gone through here is, we've talked about their pain. We've asked them a couple of questions. We've clarified what we're going to be talking about here. We're choosing our 3 priority points, and then we're fleshing each of those out. Now, 3 is arbitrary, of course. You can have more, or probably not less. You can have more if you want, but I wouldn't go too long, because the key with anything in marketing is to be specific, and don't try and add in too many different things. So that rather than having a whole lot of stuff in your email, you know, writing it about, say, all of Facebook. You know, Facebook marketing in general, if you can really hone in on a few things, you'll have a much more powerful newsletter. Don't go on holidays, everybody, because this is what happens when you get back. I am joking. All right, and then we want to end up with a conclusion. So we've talked about these 3 things. What's our little conclusion here? So there you have it, full stop. Just by creating a few simple rules, comma, setting some really powerful guidelines, comma, and having a goal for the time you log on to Facebook, full stop, you can create a really powerful action plan that means you can spend less than 2 hours a week on Facebook for business, comma, but still achieve all of the goals you've set for yourself, exclamation mark. Okay, so there we go. So that gives you an idea on how to write this newsletter. Now, if we just go through it again, we've got our 5 top points to cover. And as I said, this can work for any different type of business. Excuse me. Whatever your business is, whatever your people are, whoever your people are. What I might do is I might come back to me now. Let me just see if we can do that. Okay, hello again. Oops, why have I muted that? Let's see if we can unmute me. Sorry, can you still hear me there? There we go. Okay. All right. So that gives you the 5 simple steps to writing your newsletter in 15 minutes. Now, I hope that was valuable, because I thought rather than me just telling you the steps and describing how to do each one, if we went through it with an actual real life example, then that can be much more powerful. So by recapping the steps that we talked about, number 1 is to decide on a topic or a top of mind problem that you're going to be talking about in your newsletter. Number 2 is to choose the top 3 priority points that you're going to cover in the newsletter. Number 3 is to flesh each of those points out. So put a couple of sentences about each of the points to make it give it a bit more bulk and a bit more information about each of those. Number 4 is that was number 4. Number 5 is to end up with a conclusion. Now, the couple of other tips that I offered along the way there was to be specific with your topic, and don't try and put too many different things into your email. Now, there are different ways of writing newsletters. This is the way I like to write a newsletter, where it's concentrating on one topic. I know other ways are to have a whole lot. Some people will put a whole lot of links. If they're writing it once a month, for example, they might have a link to each of their different blog posts they've had for the month, and it can be quite an extensive newsletter. That is something you would do more if you're not doing it that often. So if you're only sending out 1 email a month, you think you've got to put all of the possible information you can in there. For me, as I said, I would prefer to regularly be connecting with my people 2 to 3 times a week, and have these more focused emails each time. Now, you can choose as well with an email whether you have it as a simple information email, or whether you have it as a solo mailer where you have a call to action in there as well. So the 5 steps I mentioned before can be used in a solo mailer as well, but you would also add in an extra one, which would be your call to action at the end. And the call to action would obviously be very much aligned with the body of the email and the subject of the email. So you would choose what your call to action was, and the whole email would be based around leading towards that. So say, for example, with that example we went through today, which was about how to save time, want to spend less time on Facebook, talking about Facebook marketing and how to make it more efficient. If you had, for example, you were offering a coaching session about, or a strategy session, or some sort of a power session, for example, on how to create your Facebook marketing schedule, then you would be leading up to that throughout the email, because that's your end result, and you would then you'd smoothly lead into that call to action at the end. But that's entirely up to you. I don't recommend every email having a call to action. You know, the sales, what's it called? The sales percentage people tend to talk about is 75-25. So 75% social information, great content, 25% sales. And when I say sales, I don't mean necessarily selling. I just mean more offering people something that they have to take an action. So a call to action where they have to take an action step in order to get. So hopefully that has given you a fair idea on what is possible for you in your own business, so that you can create your own newsletters very simply and easily, and it's not as daunting as it used to be, so that you don't feel like it's too much to write newsletters over and over again. Any questions, please pop them in the box below, because I would love to answer them. And I do have a special offer that I'm going to offer to the people who have opted in online. Have opted in for our session. So if you haven't done that, I'll put the link again for you to opt in, to register for attending this live stream, because then you also get the special offer that I've got for a power session, and that will come to you in your inbox later today. So thank you so much for being here today, and I love spending time with all of you lovely ladies. Sorry about the coughing, as I said. Unfortunately, that is a result of having had a wonderful, wonderful holiday in the sun, and then coming back to Melbourne, where the sun is not really out much, and it's much, much colder here. But that is how it often goes. So, so please, any questions that you have, pop them in below, and I'll come back in and answer them. If you want to get access to our special power session, then I'll put the link in to register for today again. And if you do that, you can then have access to the power session too. So thanks for being here today. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully it was valuable for you, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.